Hello, my name is J.F. Corns, and I am the author of the upcoming novel EchoWorlds Rise of the Keth, a sequel to this one here, EchoWorlds Redemption of the Paradigm. Just to refresh your memories, I'm going to be reading a little passage from the first book. I hope you like it. Warhog chose not to use her wings too often in her line of work, for fear she would be brought down by her many debtors and pursuers. But this time, she had no choice. She could clearly see her way out, and so, without a thought, she jumped into the air, thrust her wings outward, and soared beautifully across the butterscotch sky, all the time heading towards her armoured vehicle, which was getting closer and closer. Although some thought she looked like an angel, Warhog didn't know what species she was. Her life had been far from angelic, and today was the perfect example of that. Her feet dragged briefly across the dry sand of the wasteland as she landed a few feet from her vehicle, the Fury. In she jumped. She pulled out the treasured green object and tied it to her overhead dashboard, where it gleamed brightly in the sun. She put the pedal to the metal and inflamed the thrusters of the Fury as it raced out along the horizon. The wastelands of Triatica stretched out as far as the eye could see. Most of it was desolate and barren. But this area was littered with giant shards of shattered glass sunken into the scorched earth from an age long since past. Stubica was fading fast into the distance, and yet Warhog could see an oncoming convoy hot on her trail, her hunters, the warlords. These creatures motored out across the land in their oil-scoffing vehicles and roared after her along the glass-strewn path, screaming at the top of their lungs the most animalistic cries. Their vehicles were a muddle of different models. Brass motorcycles propelled forward by green flames, rusted steel antiquated cars covered in war paint and powered by billowing black smoke, as well as a multi-wheeled copper truck with heavy machine guns encased in the sides. At the front of the pack was a 5-wheeled racing car. The lead driver was clad in black leather from head to foot, his head encased in a black animal skull, driving recklessly, screaming and firing a semi-automatic at Warhog's armoured vehicle, which was out ahead. Bullets were crashing into the Fury, and as she moved into a higher gear, she glided effortlessly across the isolated dry landscape. With enough distance between them, Warhog now felt the time had come to inflict some return fire on her pursuers. She pulled down a lever which put the vehicle into autopilot and increased its acceleration. She then grabbed hold of the jagged green object and placed it in her tunic pocket. She swiveled her chair round and pulled into another small lever, boosting her seat into the air where the cockpit opened up and grabbed hold of the massive battery gun on the rear of the car. She pulled back the clip and unleashed a withering barrage on her pursuers. A constant rat-tat of blistering pace and sound rang out as Warhog's bullets cannoned into the pursuing 5-wheel car, which lit up into an awesome stain of orange on the skyline, rendering the pursuing gang short of a leading assailant. 1 became 2, and 2 became 3, as the battery gun's bullets splintered the fuel line, upending one car into its partner and causing another shrieking explosion. But this wasn't a complete victory. 2 of the ensuing cars had managed to reach either side of her truck. One of the brass motorcycles in the car covered in war paint, both threw steel chains under her vehicle. Warhog caught sight of one of them, but it was too late. She had lost the advantage, as her armoured vehicle was flung into the air before thundering back into the ground and rolling. Such a mighty creation, it was now splintering into endless debris across the dry desert landscape. Fortunately, Warhog wasn't in it. She had been thrown far from the wreckage. All she could do was watch helplessly as her pride and joy disintegrated before her very eyes. She didn't have long. The war party was speeding towards her, hollowing